Kotzman here at Mad Bitcoin Summit. I'm here with Ben with BitCredit.
Yeah.
They both begin with B.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course. It's great to be here. Really good to be here.
How's the conference been?
It's been amazing. We're one of the partners here at the summit, and we're really proud to be a partner for the first year and bringing our donors' vision to life. I think it's great to be here in Madrid. And we've had some really good conversations. This is day 2 now. We've been chatting to potential customers, to investors as well. So we're pre-seed and we're looking to raise seed money. And yeah, it's been really, really positive. We've really enjoyed it and had some really good conversations last night as well. So it's not just the event. I think it's everything that goes on around the event that we really enjoy. And so yeah, we've been having some fantastic conversations and I'm loving it so far.
What is the vision of BitCredit? You mentioned it.
Yeah, I mean, so BitCredit, our mission really is that I think like many Bitcoiners, we want Bitcoin to be more than a store of value. We want it to be a medium of exchange. And for us, we focus primarily on trade finance. So we are a Bitcoin native trade finance protocol. And so we work with, soft commodities businesses in emerging markets. So think South America, Asia, cacao, wine, coffee, meats, timber, steel, businesses that don't have access to instant liquidity. They have an invoice and it can take 120 days sometimes to get that invoice. And so they can't grow their business. They can't pay their suppliers. They can't pay their workers. They can't grow. So this is SMEs. We have a business in Guatemala called Cacao Embassy, and they produce premium chocolate, and they're struggling with liquidity. And so we're currently in the pilot phase with about 3 or 4 businesses who come to us for liquidity, get that instant liquidity, and then they use it. And we want to create this kind of circular economy based on Bitcoin. And we use electronic bills of exchange, which go back to 1882, I think. So we're using old monetary instruments, but we are bringing it into the future with Bitcoin. And it's really exciting. And we are speaking to investors to get about 15 or 20 million in seed. We're having some really good conversations. And, we're based in Vienna, which is our HQ, and that's the home of sound money principles. That's what we care about. And we're a protocol, so anybody can join, like Bitcoin. And we're excited to get the message out there for more people, more businesses, more SMEs in emerging markets to use us. And we're demoing our app at our booth, and it's been really fun to get people on board and just to use it. Sometimes it's difficult to explain it, but when you use it and you send a bill to someone else, then you really feel it. So that's been another good part of the event is getting it into the hands of people that want to use it. And they love it so far.
Can you share a little bit about your background and how you maybe stumbled upon Bitcoin?
Yeah.
And what the journey's been like?
Yeah. So my background is actually in electric vehicle charging. So I came across Bitcoin back in 2016, 17, when I was working for Shell in their new energies department. We cared a lot about sustainability, and I came across Bitcoin and I rejected it as a waste of energy. I didn't do any research. I read a couple of headlines, and then I came back into it, and I thought, it's the opposite of what I read in the headlines. And I did my research. I went deep, and I thought this is the solution for not only businesses but also for individuals as well. And since kind of 2020, I've been looking to get a job in Bitcoin, and BitCredit came up. And I think it had a combination of, we have a great development team based in Europe, and they are, the app is changing every single week. But also the vision of Hubertus, who's our founder. And he does a lot of talks in Austria and around the world around bringing businesses onto Bitcoin. And I saw this combination of a great technical team, a great vision, and an exciting team that want to build something. And that's why I came to BitCredit. And so, yeah, for me, I'm excited to be working on Bitcoin. I still love sustainability and electric vehicles, but it's nice to be working on Bitcoin now and building something for the future.
This might be a little out of left field, but what's your take on all of this corporate and institutional adoption of Bitcoin, emanating or initiating out of the US, but now kind of more of a global phenomenon with, a company in Japan with MetaPlanet,
Yeah.
couple hundred companies trying to do something with Bitcoin on their balance sheet.
I mean, the great thing about a protocol is that it is open to everyone. And so whether that's individuals or institutions, I think it is absolutely fine for anyone to join and to leave when they want. And it's the same with BitCredit, right? It's open to everyone. So I think it's a necessary step. And I don't see it as a negative. I think institutions are going to use it in the way they want to, and individuals are too. And so it's not something that I think is a bad thing. I think it's a necessary thing. It just needs to be managed in the right way. But the fact that Bitcoin is open to anyone is one of the key tenets of it. And so for us to say institutions or traditional finance shouldn't play in this space is wrong. You know, they should be able to play within the rules of their jurisdiction. And so I see it as a positive. And yeah, the more the merrier, but we just have to manage it and monitor it.
Speaking of jurisdictions,
Yeah.
which locales are you operating in right now?
Yeah.
And might that change in the future?
Yeah, so we primarily are based in, our jurisdictions that we work in are South America. Like, so we're like, Guatemala, Venezuela, El Salvador, a lot of the business is Peru as well. A lot of these emerging markets where liquidity is really difficult to come by, that's where we work. And again, when it comes to things like taxes and that stuff, we can help businesses, sort that out, but it's really done in their own jurisdiction. Right. So whether that be in Europe or whether that be in South America or indeed in Asia, that's the kind of areas that we're looking at. And again, we are based in Europe, and we speak to businesses here, but there's not a necessary a real need for it right now, because liquidity is a little bit easier here. But we're still having very interesting talks on the investor side in Europe. So emerging markets is where our customers are, and then investors tend to be in Europe and the US. So that's kind of where we are. But again, we're global and we're open to anyone.
Anything kind of on the map for later this year that you want to tease? Anything you're particularly excited about?
Yeah.
And any closing thoughts?
I mean, so it's an exciting year for us because we are currently in pilot program with 3 or 4 businesses. And we're learning a lot from them every single day, how they use it, how they interact with it. We're actually launching in 2 to 3 weeks. So the app actually goes live in 2 to 3 weeks, which is really exciting. And then it's open to everyone. We're going to do a big launch campaign. And then also we're going to be at various events for the whole of the year, right? So we're going to be in Plan B in Lugano. We're going to be at BTC Prague. And we're trying to get the message out. And so app goes live in a couple of weeks. And then our seeds, so our investment, we're looking to fill in the next couple of months. So we've got app goes live, and then we've got seed in the next couple of months. So it's going to be a busy year for us, but we're excited. The team is growing. We want BitCredit to grow because people want to join it. But we have to get out there, and meet people and have conversations, and that's what we're going to be doing for the next few months.
Yeah. Where's the best place for people to connect with you and the team online?
Yeah, I think probably the best place is to go to bitcr.org. So bitcr.org. And that has information for investors, but also trades businesses as well, and also for individuals too. So go to bitcr.org and you can find everything there. Get in contact with the team, and we can set you up on the app when we go live in a couple of weeks. So yeah.
Awesome, Ben. Thanks for the
Tim,
time.
thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Cheers. Thanks.